Let me tell you something, my friends. Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. Most people are so obsessed with the reward that they forget about the work. They dream about the harvest, but never prepare the soil. They look at the mountaintop and forget to lace up their boots. You see, the results are seductive. The money, the recognition, the applause. But none of those come without a deep obsession for the process. The man or woman who falls in love with the work itself, that's the one who wins in the long run. Because while others get discouraged by the waiting, the worker keeps moving. While others complain about slow progress, the worker keeps perfecting his craft. You don't get extraordinary results by doing ordinary things occasionally. You get them by doing the right things consistently. It's not the big leap that makes success. It's the daily grind, the quiet hours, the relentless focus. So today, I want to challenge you, shift your obsession. Stop asking, when will I see the results? And start asking, how can I get better at the work? Because when you give your best to the process, the results will chase you. Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. Most people spend their lives chasing after the outcomes. They want the money, the recognition, the fame, the title. But they forget that real success doesn't come from what you get. It comes from what you first become. The question isn't, what do I need to do to succeed? It's, who do I need to become to deserve success? That's the shift that changes everything. Because when you work on becoming valuable, success becomes a natural result, not a constant struggle. Value is what the marketplace responds to. The marketplace doesn't pay for average, it pays for excellence. It doesn't reward those who merely show up. It rewards those who show up with skill, consistency, and passion. When you start to focus on becoming the kind of person who delivers value, who brings solutions, who improves, who grows, then you stop worrying about results. You begin to trust the process because you're building something greater than a moment of achievement. You're building as character. The secret that separates winners from wanderers is this. Winners understand that results are temporary, but growth is permanent. You can lose a job, you can lose an opportunity, you can lose the applause, but you can never lose who you become in the process. That's why you must turn your focus inward. Improve your knowledge, sharpen your skills, strengthen your mindset, and refine your habits. The better you become, the better everything around you becomes. When you focus on becoming valuable, you start to act differently. You stop cutting corners because you know that shortcuts never build real skill. You stop comparing yourself to others because you understand your only competition is who you were yesterday. You wake up with purpose because you're no longer chasing an image. You're chasing mastery. And the beautiful thing about mastery is that it doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the daily dedication to improvement. In those quiet hours, when no one's watching, when the world is asleep and you're still refining your craft. Most people give up because they don't see immediate results. But the one who's focused on becoming valuable doesn't quit, because their motivation doesn't come from outcomes. It comes from growth. They understand that every challenge, every setback, every failure is shaping them into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. The reward isn't just the result. It's the transformation that happens along the way. So, if you truly want success, stop chasing after it. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Develop your attitude, your discipline, your communication, your creativity. Learn how to bring something unique to the table. Become the person people look for, trust, and depend on. Because the moment you become valuable, opportunities will begin to see you. The doors that once seemed closed will open naturally, and success will stop being a chase. It will become your reflection. Falling in love with the process is the key to unlocking lasting success. Most people are so fixated on the outcome that they forget the real magic happens in the work itself. They want the results, but they're not willing to enjoy the road that leads to them. They want the trophy without the training, the applause without the discipline, the destination without the journey. But here's the truth. Results come and go, yet the person you become through the process stays with you forever. When you fall in love with the process, you stop working just to reach a goal. You start working because the process itself gives you meaning, strength, and growth. Every great achiever, from athletes to entrepreneurs, has one thing in common. They're addicted to improvement, not recognition. They find joy in practice, in repetition, in refinement. They're not waiting for someone to applaud them. They're too busy perfecting their craft. The process is where character is built, where skill is sharpened, and where purpose is discovered. You see, when you start to love what you do each day, when you learn to appreciate the grind, the struggle, and the slow progress, you gain a level of strength that success alone can never give you. Falling in love with the process means learning to see value in the small steps. It's about celebrating consistency, not just milestones. It's about showing up even when motivation fades, because you understand that every repetition, every attempt, every bit of effort is building something within you. The process may not always feel glamorous. Some days it's dull, other days it's frustrating, but it's always necessary. And if you can learn to find satisfaction in those quiet, unseen moments of effort, you'll begin to realize that success isn't something waiting for you at the finish line. It's something you're creating every single day. When you fall in love with the process, you also remove fear. Fear comes from focusing on results you can't control, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of falling short. But when your attention shifts to the work, fear loses its power. You stop worrying about how far you have to go and start focusing on what you can do. Ours today, you start trusting that consistent action will lead to the outcome you deserve. This mindset frees you from the pressure of perfection and allows you to focus on progress. The process teaches patience, discipline, and humility. It humbles you because it reminds you that growth takes time. It disciplines you because it forces you to keep going even when you don't feel like it. And it builds patience because you learn to wait, not passively, but faithfully. Each day becomes a new opportunity to refine, to adjust, to get just a little bit better than yesterday. When you fall in love with the process, you stop chasing results. They start chasing you. You become so absorbed in the act of doing your best that success can't help but follow. The process becomes your reward, and the results become the natural outcome of your dedication, passion, and persistence. Discipline in daily effort is what turns dreams into reality. Success isn't built in one grand moment of inspiration. It's built in the quiet repetition of small, consistent actions. Most people wait for motivation to strike, but motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. Discipline, on the other hand, is solid, reliable, and unshakable. It's doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's the decision to show up every single day, no matter how tired, uninspired, or distracted you might be. Discipline doesn't ask if you're in the mood. It demands that you keep your word. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who work hard occasionally. They're the ones who work hard consistently. They understand that excellence is not an act, but a habit. Each day, they lay another brick in the foundation of their goals. One workout doesn't make you fit. One reading session doesn't make you wise. And one act of courage doesn't make you fearless. But doing them every day, over time, transforms you completely. Discipline is the bridge between your intentions and your accomplishments. It's what turns "I want to" into "I did." Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build strength. Every time you follow through, when no one's watching, you build confidence. Discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. Because when you are disciplined, you control your day instead of letting the day control you. You stop being at the mercy of emotions and circumstances. You start acting with purpose, not just reacting to life. Discipline gives you the power to choose progress over comfort, growth over laziness, and results over excuses. The daily effort may feel small, but its impact compounds over time. One extra hour of study, one more phone call, one additional practice session, these seem minor in the moment, but together they create momentum. It's the accumulation of effort that leads to mastery. People often overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year with steady discipline. Success is simply the sum of small efforts repeated daily, long after the excitement has faded. Discipline also teaches you respect. Respect for time, for effort, and for yourself. When you develop discipline, you stop wasting hours on things that don't serve your goals. You begin to protect your time, because you know it's your most valuable resource. You begin to value progress, not perfection. And as your discipline grows stronger, so does your ability to handle challenges. Obstacles that once seemed overwhelming start to feel like opportunities to prove your consistency. It's easy to dream big, but it's the daily grind that makes those dreams possible. The road to success is paved with small, disciplined actions that may not look impressive at first, but they're the foundation of everything worthwhile. Discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. It's what ensures that no day is wasted. And when you look back, you'll realize that the rewards you earned weren't luck or talent. They were the natural result of discipline, daily effort. Patience is the quiet strength that turns hard work into visible progress. In a world that demands instant results, patience has become a lost art. People want success overnight. They want the reward without the wait, the finish line without the miles in between. But real growth doesn't happen in a hurry. Nature itself teaches this truth. The seed doesn't become a tree in a day. It takes time, care, and consistency. The same is true for your goals. You can't rush mastery, and you can't shortcut excellence. Progress is built one patient step at a time. When you combine patience with effort, you create a force that's unstoppable. Hard work without patience leads to frustration, while patience without effort leads to stagnation. It's the balance of both that builds lasting success. Every small action, every unseen hour of effort, every repetition is doing something. It's building strength, skill, and experience even if you can't see it yet. Patience allows you to trust the invisible process that's happening beneath the surface. Just because you can't see results immediately doesn't mean growth isn't taking place. Impatience is what destroys most people's dreams. They plant the seed and then keep digging it up to see if it's growing. They quit too early, not realizing they were closer than they thought. But the one who understands patience keeps going, keeps nurturing, keeps believing. They understand that progress is often silent before it becomes visible. The results may take time, but patience gives you the endurance to keep moving forward while others give up. Patience isn't passive. It's powerful. It's the discipline of waiting actively. It's staying focused, consistent, and calm even when things don't move as fast as you wish. It's trusting that your daily effort will eventually bear fruit. When you have patience, you stop measuring your worth by how fast things happen and start valuing how well you're growing. You stop comparing your journey to others and start focusing on your own pace. You realize that every person's timeline is different, and yours is exactly as it should be. Progress takes time because transformation takes time. The habits you're building, the mindset you're shaping, the skills you're mastering, all of these require seasons of persistence. Patience allows you to stay steady during those seasons. It keeps you from giving up when results are slow. It reminds you that slow progress is still progress. Every step forward, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goal. When you look at the most successful people in any field, you'll notice one thing. They waited longer than most. They stayed consistent long after others stopped. They didn't rush the process. They respected it. They understood that patience is not about doing less. It's about doing what's right and trusting that time will reveal the outcome. Hard work gives you the push, but patience gives you the staying power. Together, they form the foundation of every great achievement. Growth happens in the grind, not in the spotlight. The moments that shape your future are rarely the ones everyone sees. They're the early mornings, the late nights, the quiet hours, when no one's clapping for you and no one's watching. That's where true growth takes place. It's easy to perform when the lights are on, but greatness is built in the shadows. The spotlight only reveals what the grind has already created. What people call talent is often the result of countless unseen hours of effort, struggle, and repetition. The grind is where you meet your real self. It strips away your excuses and exposes your level of commitment. It tests your patience, your discipline, and your resilience. It asks, of how bad do you really want it? Because everyone says they want success, but few are willing to embrace the discomfort that comes with it. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from challenge. Every obstacle, every long day, every setback is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. That's the purpose of the grind. It prepares you for the moment when opportunity finally arrives. The spotlight is temporary, but the habits you build in the grind last a lifetime. When no one's watching, you decide who you are. You decide whether you'll stay consistent or make excuses. You decide whether you'll push through fatigue or stop because it's hard. The grind builds character because it forces you to rely on discipline, not motivation. Motivation fades, but discipline keeps you moving forward even when it's not exciting. And that's where growth happens. Not in bursts of energy, but in the quiet persistence of daily effort. Many people only want the glory. They want the recognition, the applause, the visible success. But they skip the process that creates it. They don't realize that every public victory is built on private preparation. The athlete's performance skill is built in silent training sessions. The entrepreneur's breakthrough is built in long nights of planning, failing, and adjusting. The artist's masterpiece is born from hours of unseen practice. The grind is where you build the strength to handle success when it finally comes. Without it, even small victories fade quickly. Growth in the grind also teaches humility. When you spend enough time working in the dark, you learn to value progress over praise. You stop chasing validation and start chasing improvement. You stop needing others to notice your effort because you know your results will speak for themselves. You begin to understand that the journey itself is what matters most. The lessons learned, the habits built, the persistence developed. The grind is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the training ground for your future. It's where you prove your commitment long before anyone believes in you. Every hour you put in, every setback you overcome, every sacrifice you make, it's all shaping the person you're becoming. Growth doesn't happen when the world is watching. It happens when you're alone, putting in the work day after day, fueled by nothing but faith, vision, and determination. When you master the work, the results become inevitable. Most people chase after results, as if they're separate from the process. But results are simply the reflection of mastery. You don't get what you want. You get what you've earned through skill, effort, and consistency. The better you become at your craft, the less you need to worry about outcomes, because excellence always produces reward. The marketplace always recognizes mastery. When you reach a level where your work speaks louder than your words, success follows naturally. Mastering the work means committing yourself to growth, not just activity. It's not about doing more. It's about doing better. Every day becomes an opportunity to refine your skills, to correct your mistakes, to learn, and to elevate your standards. You stop asking, "When will I get results?" and start asking, "How can I improve the way I work?" That question changes everything. Because results are not built on intensity. They're built on consistency and improvement. The person who improves a little every day eventually surpasses the one who tries to do everything at once. When you master the work, your confidence grows naturally. You don't have to fake it or talk about it. You know what you're capable of, because you've done the hard work repeatedly. You've studied the details, faced the failures, and learned from every mistake. That quiet confidence becomes your foundation. You don't depend on luck or timing, because you've developed the ability to perform under any condition. You've trained your mind and your hands to deliver quality, no matter the circumstances. That level of mastery brings peace, because you realize results are no longer uncertain. They're guaranteed by the effort and precision you've already invested. True mastery also requires humility. You must be willing to admit that there's always more to learn. The moment you think you've arrived, your growth stops. The masters in any field are not those who think they know everything, but those who are always curious, always improving, always open to feedback. They study, they practice, they repeat. They know that mastery is a journey, not a destination. It's a lifelong pursuit of better performance, clearer understanding, and deeper purpose. Mastering the work also builds reputation. People notice quality. They can see when something has been done with care, precision, and passion. When you consistently deliver excellent work, opportunities begin to seek you out. You no longer have to chase success. Your name carries weight. Your results attract attention. And your dedication earns respect. That's the power of mastery. It creates a pull effect, where the world responds to your value. The moment you stop focusing on results and devote yourself to mastering the process, you shift from chasing success to becoming the kind of person who naturally achieves it. You become consistent, reliable, and extraordinary in your field. Mastery doesn't just bring rewards, it transforms you. And when you've put in enough work, with enough precision and passion, success doesn't just happen, it becomes inevitable.